Okay. Well, we're going to start the show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to be coming back here and doing another round of the Magdalena Chronicles, which is fantastic. Always so nice to be here with you all, and especially with the energies. I mean, it's just amazing. And we have one of our most illustrious and honorable guests, Natalie Mary Grace. She's actually coming to us live from Canada. So it's a really big honor to have her on here, especially since she embodies the sacred feminine and actually has a sacred empowerment program for all the women in the world. And she has a beautiful message to embark on the entire population of our earth. For the future generations to come as well. So Natalie, if you can give us a little bit of a brief description, she's not able to come to us on video, so she's doing audio of how your program came about and what do you feel to be your biggest mission on earth at this time?
Well, first, thank you so much for having me on and asking me to come on. So I appreciate you so much, the host. I guess the program sort of began very subtly over the past couple years or year, just in doing, as I began my energy healing practitioner experiences, I noticed that several or pretty much all of the women were coming to me, clients were coming to me, or even those that were friends that I was sort of, in my quote unquote internship, so to speak, as I was training myself, they all had sexual trauma wounds or a trauma to their throat chakra from suppression of past life, from patriarchal control, and so much fear of either speaking their truth to, men in their life, to speak their spiritual truth, walk their talk, just afraid. And so throat chakra blockages and sacral chakra blockages were just pretty much every woman client had. And so I just was organically attracting this type of client and seeing this pattern of these sacred feminine wounds. And fast forward to about October, I went to my mentor and said, okay, I'm ready to level up and do my website. Can you help me? And so she's, an intuitive coach and guide and healer, and did a lot of healing and mentorship with me. But she also helps you with the branding and the business and the website building aspect. So she actually channeled Isis, and Isis brought in basically a lot of the content of what you see on my website in the program. And actually it's been tweaked. we had to sort of compromise a bit between what my human self felt comfortable with,
right?
What I and Sophia and Mary had in mind, what they wanted to do, and then what my perspective sort of recommended from a business perspective, of kind of what works and how to sort of put it together, right?
Right.
So what you see there is this empowered sacred feminine program that is really designed to go deep. It's deep inner work for women to not dig up, but dig deep into their wounds and their past and their core blocks, and really what is in their way of becoming their empowered sacred feminine self, and stepping into their power and becoming their higher self as well. So yeah, and there's many aspects and avenues to it. Some of it is, more about the healing of the wounds and the trauma. Some of it depends on where the client's at, and some of it is more about helping them to step into their power and connect to their higher self and their soul purpose and mission. So it all depends on the person and where they're at on their healing journey and how much healing they need to have done. But either way, it's just an intensive healing to help them kind of begin to open their lotus flower up, so to speak.
That's a beautiful, definitely a beautiful way to explain that. So can you walk us through what it would look like if you had the class and they would have the program? Can you walk us through it?
So as of now, I don't have anything set up in terms of like a methodology or anything like that. I've been wanting to, but I've just been letting it evolve based on what people come to me with. And so I've actually tried how to get out of my linear, logical, nursing history. I've got 25 years of nursing history behind me. That logical methodological the methodology, of being a nurse and that approach, I've had to let go of that kind of control and just go with the flow. But when somebody comes in, I'll just, the first session is a couple hours and we just really talk about their history and their beliefs and, what kind of programming did they grow up with? What kind of spiritual beliefs do they hold now? What kind of spiritual or religious programming did they receive growing up? What, what's their relationship like with the mother and the father? Are there abandonment wounds? Are there betrayal wounds? Do they have sexual trauma of any sort? What's their relationships been like? What kind of fears and blocks do they have? What do they fear in life? What do they feel safe with sexuality and intimacy? So it kind of goes into a lot of different avenues of just to sort of get this assessment of where they are and what their history is and what woundings they have. And then so after that first one, I will write out with Mary and Sophia and say, okay, this is where their wounds are. And as they'll be talking to me, I do automatic writing channeling, and I'll be writing with Sophia, or often Yeshua actually. And we'll be just writing, or Archangel Michael as well. So we kind of gather in a team, and then we'll just be writing, these are the big wounds. This is where we need to start. This is where we focus. So there's not a lot of structure right now. It's really going with the flow. And really me letting go of control and allowing my higher self to lead and guide and to step in and to help me, with the interview process of the client, to help them navigate deeper into themselves. So I kind of help them navigate deeper into themselves and to discover, what's really in the way and what really are the wounds. Because so many times a wound becomes such a natural part of us that we don't even recognize that it's a wound. So it takes a lot of deep questioning and interviewing and pushing deep to get at the root of what the issue is.
Right.
Yeah. And then so in a session I do a combination of like oracle cards that sort of help with the guidance and the messages that day. It helps me to tap in deeper, and it helps them as well, because often there'll be messages and the images or whatnot, and it just sort of hones in really, really deep into what that message is. I allow them a lot of time to express where they are in that day and what's going on and how they feel, whatever traumas or triggers came up over the past week. And then we do energy healing. So the program is set for a 90-minute session, but in all honesty, it's been taking a good 2 hours because we combine the coaching, the reading, the listening, and then the energy work all in one session. So they're pretty intense sessions, but we get an enormous amount of work done in the sessions, and it feels great to kind of have that aha moment. It's like, oh, okay, this is really the wound, not what I thought, but it's really this, so anyway, so that's kind of what a session is like. And I have to obviously really step myself aside and allow Sophia and my guides and Yeshua to come in, because they, conduct that session with me, and I just have to go with the energy. And sometimes that session goes longer because they want to do so much, right? They see so much more than I do of what needs to be healed. And they're just like, okay, we're going to do this. Now we're going to do this and this and this. And I feel the energy flowing. And I just say, okay, here's the keys. So anyway, that's how they go.
I like the statement here. Here are the keys. Yes, Peter.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. I actually said that to my coworker a while back. My coworker said, "Well, here are the keys." I'm like, "Yes, Peter. Where are the keys?" And she's like, "Well, what are you handing me?" I'm like, "I'm handing you the keys to the kingdom." She's like, "Are you serious?" Yeah,
Jesus, take the wheel, right?
exactly. Jesus,
Yeah.
take the wheel. Well, right now, I know most of the population is saying, we need Jesus to take the wheel, right?
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
many ways. But I actually met Natalie. I was doing a healing with her, and what I had picked up over her energy imprint on her photograph originally, even before we connected, was that she was so deeply connected to the divine Sophia. And I myself, during my journey, and especially in the last couple of years, have become so intertwined with the energy imprints and aspects of the Sophia line that it was like an automatic magnet that connected me directly to Natalie. And she
Mhm.
was able to precisely, almost like an X-ray machine, see what was happening inside of me at the time that it was happening. And because she was able to do that, because I'm also deeply and divinely connected to Sophia, and Mary, and Mother Mary, and Yeshua, and Sanat Kumara and other guides and Kuan Yin, I was able to then, with laser precision, do a lot of automatic writing of my own, including light language, that was able to explain some of the symptoms that I was having, because I go through my stages of having good days and having not the best of health days. And so Natalie's work really imprinted in my mind as, well, like a miracle that occurred. Is like, I asked the universe, bring me someone that would help in my times of real deep pain, as in the recent past. And she was really a giant help, and I believed in her message, and I believe in her future message to humanity. And I know it's going to be a really big one that's going to impact millions and billions of people around the world, especially coming from the background of being a nurse. I
Mhm.
think it's so vital right now, especially with the pandemic not being over and different strands, and, not to bring any politics into the show, but, with the way things are going, her expertise as on the physical plane as a former nurse, and her expertise as being of the lineage and the sacred instrument and the vehicle and the vessel and the messenger of the divine Sophia lineage and message, is going to become extremely vital on our planet. And people like her really are going to come to be standing out, and there will be people drawing to her like moths to a flame in droves, because people would love to have that kind of answer of something on more of a holistic end, or an easier answer to process than just the medical terminology that is given through statistics or tests that are made
Exactly.
by machines. And so this is why I thought about it, and I got a guidance from, I think it was Mother Mary, yeah, to bring you on the show, and to be able
Mhm.
to, especially now in May, and within this big, I'd say large scale energetic shift that we are all going through on earth at this time, especially with what's going on in Israel, and our love and light to be sent to them. At the end of the show, we will definitely do a small little prayer, of course,
Mhm.
for everything that's happening around the world right now, and for the people in India and throughout the world that are suffering still.
Mhm.
um, do you want to remember that it's far from over. It's far from over, and it takes people like ourselves, who are the awakeners, to continue awakening humanity to the real truth and not the illusion of what's going on around us, through all walks of life. To be honest, and that is why, Natalie, you are on the show.
Thank you.
And the other reason why, I didn't tell Natalie why I wanted her to be on the show. I kind of just threw her in there. I'm like, I need you to be on the show. um, and the reason why is because the last show that we had, if we recap for a minute, we talked about Yeshua in great lengths. And this was following, I had a really horrible seizure. It was right around the time of my birthday, which I celebrated last month. And I had lost speech for over 5 hours, and I was not able to speak. Um, And it was a really brutal time for me at that moment. I had gone through a major, I guess, physical and emotional shift on epigenetic level and DNA and morphogenetic level, definitely. To the point that my hair, changed color, and just my whole body physically just changed. And we talked a lot about Yeshua, the kind of like the metaphor of the bee, of like being able to resurrect from like the deepest, darkest moments of when we think it's over. Like we are able to resurrect even through physical sense and terminology. And I strongly focused on the process of morphogenesis, which is becoming human and divine all in one concept, which is what I think, Natalie, the basis of your message will become more clear, uh, in a few short weeks to months, of that basis of process of morphogenesis, where you are solely growing into your own, not only your human self, but also your divine self.
Mm-hmm.
And as you grow to embrace that more and more and more, your ability to heal and your ability to impact those around you will become a lot stronger, because it won't be a job. It won't be a transitional kind of, that's what I'm getting from Mother Mary. It won't be a transitional, almost like, okay, I'm a channel, because you're a very strong channel. I'm a scry, or it's just coming through me. It'll just be you, and you become the scroll, you become the book, you become the channel, you become the everything.
Right.
And just a walking testament. You're the walking book.
Right, right. And they had actually said that to me, I think, just in the past, sometime in the past week, less than a week, I think, because I've
Okay.
been working deeper and deeper with my higher self of,
Excuse me
I've
for a
been going through an
second.
ego death as well, which has been very, very challenging. And trying to find that balance between becoming Sophia, because
Right.
she is my higher self, and balancing that with the human Natalie aspect, right? So
Right.
it's been very intimidating. It's been very challenging. It's been very difficult. Um, I have days where I'm integrating, but they did say, to your point, um, that I would get to this point of just being the channel, not even being a channel, just being the message and not even having to channel. And Sophia kind of freaked me out because she came in once with, again, I don't remember when it was, but it's within the last 7 days. And she came in so strong that my human consciousness and mind and thought ceased to exist.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I was exclusively like Sophia for a little bit, and it freaked me out. I'm going, what is happening? Like I couldn't even formulate my own thought. I'm like, okay, this is a little too much, because her energy is so intense. And Sophia has such a powerful message and such a powerful mission, and she's a little bit nervous about the state of the planet,
Right.
and she's doing a lot of work through me, and she needs to do a lot through me. So it's this balance of my own personal awakening and growth, and the gradual sort of ego dissolution. They don't
Hmm.
want me to use the word death. They want me to say dissolution. So they're saying ego dissolution, the gradual dissolution of the ego, to where you just have the parts that need to remain here for being a grounded human as my
Right.
Natalie self, and
Right.
maintaining that part of myself, and then getting out of the way so Sophia and Mary and Isis and Kuan Yin and all the rest of my gang aspects, as I call them, the whole gang, I have a whole gang of them, and I have to get out of the way so they can do, because it's ultimately, it's not even about me. It's about me being this conduit for the planet, for Sophia to anchor, because I anchor her codes, and as a source code keeper and activator. So it's not, I'm trying to juggle the work and for the greater good, and at the same time I'm like everybody else, where I still have my own wounds and my own triggers and my own fears and my own anxieties and the past. And I'm clearing the past memory and pain and trauma of Mary and Yeshua. And that's very difficult. So it's there's like the multiple layers to it, right? So it's
Yes.
and at the same time I'm, showing up for my clients and healing my clients. So it's to say it's challenging would be a very big understatement. So yeah.
And at the end of it, you still have to pay the bills. And
Yes, there
right.
is
And
that.
right. And at the end of it, you still have to deal with your own health.
Yeah.
Um, we both had a difficult day today. If you don't, I'm not going to disclose what Natalie was going through, but we both had a very challenging health day today.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've been actually working together for a couple of weeks now, to try to kind of get things cleared up in our health and just to kind of like live a much more improved, a much more balanced human life.
Mm-hmm.
Helping each other as a team to be able to do that. I mean, I myself, since the last show, have crossed the point where it's become sometimes at times almost unbearable to live a human life, and human functioning, because some of my human functioning was actually became handicapped recently, actually. And my mom hasn't been well, so I've had some stuff go on. And it's been challenging. It's been really, really challenging, and had to change a lot of things. But I also grew within that. And as a human, as my higher self, as my divine aspect. And I'm proud of that. I wouldn't regret doing that again. I wouldn't take it back. And because of the pain and the excruciating pain that I have gone through in the last 3 weeks, especially, I have grown not only as a person, but as an evolved spiritual being. And that's the most amazing part, is that we're not, beings having a spiritual experience. I've come to understand it's like we are spiritual beings having a earthly experience. And it's more difficult for us to tackle the way and navigating the murky waters, especially right now, of learning how to be human, than it is for us to jump in cloud nine and become the divine. Right, Natalie? I mean, I think you'd
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, no, we're not here to just no matter what powerful aspects we are, like no matter the fact that I carry Sophia's energy and embodiment and her embodiment, at the end of the day, I'm still also Natalie. At the end of the day, I still have to go through my own lessons and learning and growth and healing and challenges and earthly challenges and health challenges and family, dealing with, all kinds of stuff in my own life. There's so much going on, and I guess that is the growth, right? That is the ultimate soul growth, is still showing up no matter what challenges came to you that day. And you know, I I come back to center in my heart when I think back to the challenges that Yeshua had to deal with,
Right.
for him to go town to town and minister while being chased essentially by Roman soldiers. And he did it anyway, right? And they all did. And they faced incredible challenges and gave up a lot to do what they needed to do. And so I think back to that, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna just, my challenges are different, they're not the same as his. Your challenges are different, they're not the same. They are still challenges, they're still valid, they're still hard, they're still life lessons, but that's how we learn and grow. And
Yeah.
we're here to learn and we're here to grow, as individuals, as soul beings. We evolve through each and every one of these experiences, and we gain wisdom. So we can always choose to reframe how we see it, whether a victim perspective mentality, or as a empowerment lesson and growth opportunity. And then also, so many times we go through really challenging experiences because we're clearing a lot of past life stuff. This is our lifetime to ascend. And that's another reason why so many are coming in with so much, accumulation of so much trauma and triggers, and it's, or reliving a lot of things in this life. And sometimes it's not even necessarily that particular trauma is as bad as it was in the past life. It's often nowhere near as bad. However, there'll be situations or experiences throughout our life every day that can mirror or trigger these wounds from the past, and we have to clear them. They have to be triggered in order for it to come up again. out of the vaults of the subconscious mind to be seen and felt and heard and acknowledged and healed and then released. That's how we ascend, right? So part of what I do is as well as kind of helping, people to do that as well. And again, I facilitate this, right? It's the work is done by the person themselves. I facilitate it. And the work is done by every one of us. And we are all our own healers. And I'm merely the mirror and a channel and a guide and a teacher and a facilitator for somebody to do their own healing, and I'm very blessed and happy that Yeshua works through me and Mary and Sophia, and they do incredible healing through me, energy healing techniques and gifts, and they do really amazing things and techniques that are unique to them. So yeah.
It's sure they do. Living proof of that.
Yeah.
Living proof of that. Yeah. And Yeshua has come up a lot in our own healings and our own channelings. I want to tell you guys, yesterday I was actually watching, I was part of a live stream premiere, and I think Natalie, or I kind of like drew Natalie right into it. And I was like, watch
Yes,
this.
you did.
And she was like, what is this? And I'm like, don't ask questions, just watch.
No, I watched all of the first season of The Chosen, and I just, for whatever reason, haven't gotten back onto the app to. I didn't realize the second season had started because I kept watching all of the, like in between the seasons, they would do interviews, and I would watch all the behind the scenes stuff, and because I love the show. And then the funny thing is, I didn't realize the second season started, and then you sent it. I'm going, wait, what? Episode 4 of season 2? What happened? But it was interesting to share the energy of watching it live. It was and just observing, the comments of people and their perspective and what they see and feel and in the live stream. So that was a unique experience. So I thank you for inviting me to it.
Absolutely. For all those that do not know, The Chosen is actually the first show in Hollywood history. It's not even Hollywood related, but first show in the film industry. That's actually, there is no funding from Hollywood. There's no funding from directors or anything that's really being made by Hollywood right now, by Netflix or that's out there in the box office. Not at all. It's actually a show that is being directed and produced by an entire team of actors and directed by Dallas Jenkins. Dallas Jenkins is a very well-known director and producer that has produced Hollywood films and has ended up in the box office in the past. His father, Jerry Jenkins, actually wrote the first season, actually the first episode of the show called I Will Call You by Name. And it's the story of the life of Jesus. The actors are amazing. They've all been in different, shows in the past on Netflix or even in films and different shows that have aired on, different channels, ABC, NBC. And it's amazing. It really tells the story of Yeshua, and it tells the story of Mary and all the disciples, John the Apostle and Matthew and Simon and Peter. And it tells it to you in such a humanistic way that you almost feel like you're just sitting there watching the show Friends, or you're sitting there watching like One and a Half Men. It's not, you're not feeling like you're watching a biblical show, because it's almost like I watched them walk yesterday on episode 4, right? I think Natalie will agree. And I have like a picture of it on my email, and I'm like, there goes the boys club. There's the Yeshua, Matthew.
They have a stagger about them, I think, don't they? They have a bit of they have a stagger, especially Peter. He's got the camera likes him. The camera likes him a lot. We really
love him because he is just so. I think he, there's some certain actors that there's like certain actors that are humanistic, right? To the point where it's like they are human and there is just them and they're just naturally on camera.
Mhm.
And it's just like they don't even have to act; they just need to know the lines. But before we continue, why I brought in the show, the Chosen and Natalie, we had Meher. I don't know. I think she was signing off. Yeah, she signed off, but Meher joined us for a brief period of time. It was actually her birthday today, so I
Mhm.
just want to, like we'll do the replay for her later, and when it streams on YouTube, so she could see it. We wanted to wish her a happy birthday, Meher and us. I know she's actually part of Esoteric Guides NYC.
Mm.
And she does amazing astrology. She does amazing channeling. She's a divine feminine. She was on the show before with Kalyana Rose from Australia, who does the sacred divine feminine codes for Mary Magdalene. And she has been an amazing presence, and she's a really close friend of mine. She's a Melchizedek priestess, and she's a very strong channel, and she wanted to just become, like be a part of the show for just a moment, just to say hello. But I just wanted to just send a really quick shout out to her and just say happy birthday, and we wish you the
Mhm.
best in your journey, and may
Beautiful.
you have the most success, and may you continue to embody the divine feminine as strong as you are, and may millions really, and more, billions, hear the sound of your
Mhm.
beautiful voice and your channelings and listen to your beautiful, beautiful message. So that's why I just wanted to say that for her. But hearing us too, we got involved actually with the Chosen last year during the high tide of what I call it, of the pandemic, when the pandemic really hit the first time around, and everybody was sitting home in the four walls and not knowing what to do with themselves after they worked for years, and it's like, what do I do now? um and so I got involved with the show, and I drew my hair and us into it, and we watched season one. I don't remember how we got a hold of the show. It just came to us, I guess, and a friend of Shalini Kumar, also, who does famous perfumer in New York, she got involved, and then she got her mother involved, and it became a whole thread between New York and Washington and Wisconsin. And it was just a beautiful thing, because we would literally try to learn how to watch the show on Zoom together. And
Mhm.
everybody would be calling and watching the first episode. I will call you by name, and everybody's calling each other, crying, and they're like, "Well, I can't believe it! Oh my God!" It's like it became like a family thing. But every
Mhm.
episode that they have ever put out, and they've only put out the full season one, and then they just literally finished season two, episode four. And as they finish the episodes, they air them, they live stream them. And so we do like the thing called pay it forward, where we actually donate a certain amount so we could pay it forward to buy, let's say free viewing for 10 viewers, 20 viewers, sometimes 100 viewers. And that's
Mhm.
how we do the pay it forward campaign. And I'm also producing a show. It's like a virtual theater show about the pandemic in a little bit, maybe in a month or two, where we are actually going to be sporting the Chosen's apparel called Come and See, because we have a portion of it where we're talking about the book of Esther. And when we don't see the concept of, like, when we don't see God, like working behind, like behind us, or we don't see some sort of outcome that we were hoping for, things seem to be really, really tough. We come to the conclusion that God is always in the presence. It's like Yeshua once said, how you can't see the kingdom, right? It's not like you
Mhm.
can smell the kingdom. It's not like it's a castle up on some sort of high mountain somewhere in Europe. It's like the wind. You don't see the wind, you feel the wind,
Exactly.
right?
Mhm.
And that's the same thing about the kingdom, is that you feel that energy, you feel that vibration, and it's there. It's a different dimensional frequency range. And so that's the same thing. So the come and see aspect is, we're seeing God working behind the door or around us, no matter what is happening, even if we have trauma, even if we have like what Natalie deals with her clients, even if we have hardships, we have challenges, we always know that God is there. We always know that a part of us, higher selves, which is connected through our adamantine particles to God, is there. And in a sense, we are God. We are a part of God. We are all aspects of the guides that the guides that we seek guidance from, that we pray to and with. Notice what I say. It's like a download I'm getting. It's almost like we, like in the common world, in the regular world, if we go to church, like we pray to a saint. In the more spiritual, more awakened frequency range of consciousness, we understand that we're not praying to a saint. We are the incarnation, the aspect, the soul frequency, the higher self of that saint that is praying along with the universal consciousness and the galactic consciousness in our guides. And we're seeking guidance from the guides, which is also part of us, which is us. We're really seeking guidance from within, which we're technically seeking that guidance from ourselves. And so yesterday's Chosen, why I actually even, kind of subconsciously through Natalie and Meher was watching it too last night. I didn't realize what I was watching. I was praying, for a miracle to happen as far as health wise and certain other things in my life. And I was just sitting there before the show started. And I'm like, how am I going to do this? I feel like for the first time in months, like I'm just seeing like this dark tunnel. I'm not seeing the light. Why am I not seeing the light? I just would like to get a miracle. Like, can I just manifest a miracle? I just need a miracle right now. And I kept saying that. And as I'm watching the show, it becomes so much clearer that as I am requesting that, the show is giving me the message back. You ever had a song, like you thought you had a thought, you're asking for something, then the song comes on and it's like the answer?
Mm-hmm.
So Chosen for me, I don't know for Natalie, I'm pretty sure in some respects was like almost an answer to a prayer to show me that things are going to be okay. And I'll just do like a small, it's gonna screen share it for you, but guys, but I'm, in the interest of time, we're not gonna. I just wanted to just, before I ask Natalie to, kind of, I'll do a meditation, we walk through it together, we'll do some light language together as well. Whatever spirit wants us to, put out as a message. And what I wanted to just bring about from the show itself was that this man kept going to this well. He was actually sitting by the well for many years, waiting for someone to take him to this well, to this pool in Jerusalem, because he couldn't walk. And his brother was actually a trained assassin. I learned a lot about the Sanhedrin yesterday and the trained assassins that were back in the day. I did not know that they did. Yeah, right.
They carried their knives. They carried their knives. Yeah.
And so this man was actually a trained assassin, and he wasn't a bad man. He was just lost and energetically, in reality sense, he was really wallowing in his own pain and dealing with a lot of anger based about what happened to his family and his brother not being able to walk, and he hasn't seen his brother, and he's judgmental of his brother. And first he's about to execute one of the Roman magistrates, which the Roman magistrate actually understood that he was, like that there was an attempt, like an attempt on his life, and he was going to kind of like, play the game of trying to actually stop that. And he came to see his brother before because he didn't know if he was going to survive it or not. And he told his brother, he's like, you haven't changed much. You're still the same person. You're still going to be sitting. Why are you sitting by this thing? Do you really believe that you're going to just one day get in this water and kind of walk again? Like, is this for real? And his brother, as he's walking away from him to say goodbye, reads him a scroll that the brother actually wrote to him years ago. He said, if I see my brother get up and walk, then, and I see, and I become witness, I bear witness to this miracle, then my life will change. And that included his, present career. And which he didn't really ever believe that, his brother was ever going to walk. So it's like a lot of times, which is like a preference.
Didn't he say, and the Messiah will come?
And the Messiah will come. Yeah, when I bear witness to my brother walking, then I'm going to see the Messiah.
Right.
And guess what? During the show, what happens is that Yeshua takes the boys' club, as I'm going to refer to. Who was the boys' club, right? I love them. Simon, Matthew, and John. right? And he took the boys club, and he didn't tell them where they were really going. They were talking about the well, that it's like the magical well. You get in the water and you heal from illnesses. And there was Simon was like, oh no, what trouble are you stirring now? So do we have to be on the lookout? Like, who's gonna go after us now? Like, what attention are you gonna stir up now? Like, are you serious? Can you at least let us know what you're doing? And he was like, no, I'm not gonna let you know what you're doing. You just have to see it. Right, typical Yeshua, right, Natalie?
Yeah.
Typical Yeshua. You just have to see it. Come and see. That's the whole point. Come and see.
Trust.
And he comes up to this man. He doesn't go to the brother who's about to commit murder, right? He goes to the brother who cannot walk, who's been waiting for years, sitting at this well, waiting for someone to take him into the well, because every time he tries, something happens. He can't, to save him and bring his legs to full recovery so he can walk again. This is what the man spent most of the years believing, that one day someone's going to bring him in the water and he's going to heal. Yeshua comes to him directly, doesn't even say who he is, and asks him, are you ready to be healed?
Mm-hmm.
And this man is like looking at him. He doesn't even, he's like, who are you? And he's like, that's not the point. We'll cross that bridge later. Like, are you ready to be healed? And he's like, how are you going to take me to the water? And Yeshua says, no, I'm not going to take you to the water. And he gets all disappointed and sad. He's not going to take him to the water. But then he says, how long have you been here for this long that you waited for someone to take you to the water? Because you know, when you get in the water, nothing's going to happen. You don't need the water. You just need me.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said, you don't need the water, you just need me, he really meant to say, you don't need the water, you just need the faith, the belief that you can manifest this miracle. And I'm just being the vehicle, like Natalie said, through me, that energy is being channeled through, but I'm not the one healing you. You are healing yourself. I am just there to bear witness to your healing. And to bear witness to the miracle of life itself, because you are your own God of your own earth, your own universe, of your own consciousness, and you are connected to everything there is, and you're breathing in all that is. So if you choose to believe that you can walk, you will walk. And guess what? The Boys Club bear witness, the Sanhedrin bear witness. The rest of the rabbis bear witness, and the rest of everybody around this man that has spent so many years of his life believing that he's a cripple and handicapped, bear witness to the fact that this man got up and walked. Like Roosevelt, right before, again, this is the second show that I guess, a metaphor is being stemmed from World War II. So I guess it's pertaining to the times we live in this age, wink, wink, where Roosevelt is advocating for a response for what happened to Pearl Harbor. And he's getting the offense from Congress, and Congress says to him at a table, no, it's impossible that we can retaliate, we can answer back. No, we're not going to be able to do this. It's impossible. And Roosevelt gets up from the wheelchair and says, don't tell me what's possible. Don't tell me what is impossible, because I am walking. I just got out from the wheelchair. Don't tell me. And then guess what? We all know what happened the rest of the way. So it's same thing like in the show. And I guess that's what Mother Mary really wanted to sink in for this show for us. I guess before Natalie and I begin like hard work, we won't, it's not, we won't keep you too long, but it'll be something nice. I guess the message for tonight, because Natalie asked me, what's the concept for tonight? And I couldn't really give her the concept because I myself didn't know what it was. A lot of the shows that we do, as you guys all have seen, are solely based on what spirit leads us to do. And the messages that come through are live. They cannot be replicated. Sure, they can be paraphrased, but not replicated unless they're actually being done live. And whatever happens on the show, it will never be the same again. Throughout every show is different. So Mother Mary's message for tonight, as we kind of gear into what's happening around the world, and we go through this reopening, transitional phase after the pandemic, which is still continuing, but at least we're in some sort of reopening stage. most of us began that already. Most of us are going back to work, and I'm on hiatus at this time. It's just certain things. But we are really gearing towards being able to go back to what, it's never going to be a normal. It's the new normal. It's like the new Snapple, right? You ever heard that terminology, the new Snapple? It's the
Mary,
new Snapple, right? It's the new norm.
yeah.
And even if we are reopening, it's not like we're just going to close our eyes and say, okay, none of this last year, none of this happened. It's like it's going to go back to the same old screw. It's not. Most of us are awakening to the point where this pandemic, in the process of it being gory and dark and scary and life-threatening, learn to kind of take a step back, take a breath, and say, oh, wow, and actually learn their favorite color, how they take their coffee, what makes them tick, how do they live life. And we've learned to understand that through this goriness, we are more awake than we could ever be if this pandemic did not occur. And so that is what the life change will be, is that we could teach our children and our children's children that, this shift, this colossal earth major shift, even the Schumann resonance is like skyrocketing at this time. I mean, everything is just like changing. I was told the other day, like I have a healer friend from Australia, and my healer friend said, you should be connecting to the earth's currents every single day as you step foot, like try to step foot on grass, try to go by a tree, but just try to go into the water, try to connect somehow to the earth's currents, because Gaia needs our help. Gaia is at a point of such a major transitional phase and such a process of morphogenesis, such a process of metamorphosis. It's like like a cocoon turning into a butterfly. She needs all of us to really be kind of on board on the ship to be able to help her ascend to what she is meant to be. And again, Natalie, I bring you into this because you're a perfect example of that from what I have seen. I wish you'd see what I see. And one day you will come and you will see.
Marianna, before you go further, can I wanted to back up a whole bunch.
Sure.
You were talking about on the show The Chosen,
Sure.
and I wanted to connect the dots to something else. You kind of jumped ahead of, and I was like, oh, I got to share something else I read today that relates to it.
Sure.
So I just wanted to pause for a moment.
Of course.
So I do daily scripture study with Yeshua, and this morning I was happened to be reading in 2 Kings, and there was at the beginning, I think it was verse 3 or 4, maybe 5, I can't remember, but anyway, it was related to the same healing ceremony, so to speak, of Yeshua healing, helping that man heal, but not doing it the way that man expected it. And the same thing in this one section of Kings, where there was a man with leprosy, and it was a servant of one of the king's family or something like that. And it was their servant, and they went to the king, or it was this person's servant, and they went to the king, can you help heal him? And they went to the prophet Elijah. I can't remember if it was Elijah or Elisha. I think it was Elijah. Elijah. And so Elijah, says, go to the River Jordan and go into the River Jordan 7 times and you will be cleansed and purified. And the guy got mad. He's like, well, can't you wave your magic wand, so to speak, and, do your magic, heal me now? And he was like, no, you're going to go into the River Jordan 7 times and you will come out clean. And he did. So I think the message is that sometimes healing comes to us in ways that we don't expect.
Right.
And so there's a definite parallel from what you were just sharing again from The Chosen last night, of how Yeshua healed the man at the well, because it wasn't with the healing waters in the way he expected, because he was demanding, I want you to heal me in this way. And the same thing in what I read this morning was, I want you to heal me in this way. Yet they were healed, but in a different way. So sometimes I think the message that's coming through is that we have to let go of what we think it's going to look like, whether it's our healing or our path or our mission or our relationship. What's coming through is that we really have to get out of the way and allow trust and allow the healing to take place and allow God to take the wheel of how the healing is going to happen. And sometimes things are done very differently than how we imagine it to be in our mind. And again, whether it's healing or whether it's our awakening, our mission, our life, or our relationships, we get moved into different places, and we don't always understand why, because we don't see the whole picture that God sees, right? The whole perspective. But I just, when you were talking about that, I thought, oh gosh, that just totally relates to what I read this morning. And I knew I had to start speaking it, and then the message would come through, and it did. So I just needed to share that before it went any further, because I was like, wait, I've got to share this. The energy was coming through so strongly. So yeah. So what a perfect call.
Well, you asked what the show was about. It's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
one word can trigger a whole message. It's
There you go.
all live. Absolutely.
There you go.
And I think that being you right now, as far as walking in your shoes, of like tackling this, like, okay, you know, like one moment I am, you know, I'm feeling like completely in the moment of and enveloped with Sophia energy, and I'm you know, like reverberating that message over to the world, and then the next moment you're like completely, I'm Natalie, and I'm dealing with this stuff and this and
Yeah.
you know, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. You know, in the last show, you know, I talked a little bit about the fact that, you know, I go through my moments of also, you know, feeling that, you know, like the higher aspect taking over, and then, you know, the human aspect is taking over, and it's just like a battleground sometimes that happens.
Yes.
And you know, that's what we're grappling with. That is exactly what we're grappling with. But you know, that's the beauty I've come to understand in the last 3 weeks throughout this excruciating pain that I've been going through. And mind you, I've chosen actually to take myself off of any pain medication, because I want to progress with my DNA staying intact. um Thankfully, you know, I was able to actually do the replay for the 555 portal, and where I accessed and I did like a major transition with a priestess of at the temple of Isis, where we did the 555 in Egypt. I mean, I was on Zoom, but like it was live streamed from Egypt, where a group of priestesses actually went into the temple of Isis, and we actually channeled the Magdalene energy and the Isis energy and the Kuan Yin and the divine feminine. And what happened was that they were doing this like for like 10 days prior, and they were opening up certain grids, you know, and ley lines throughout Earth and in Egypt and other locations. And then what we were able to do was literally kind of break down and deconstruct our old portions of our DNA, because I work with DNA, and literally open up the segue, kind of the Pandora's box that allows us to access the actual adamantine particulars through the process of morphogenesis, that allows us to access our own DNA, the purest parts of our own DNA, where there is less ego, there's less convolution, there's less connection to the matrix, and kind of unplug. And that was done for pretty much the entire collective consciousness. You know, people will be catching up throughout the years, but we did that for the collective. And we were able to kind of like literally rewrite the script in so many ways and create our own scriptures of, like, you know, I call the scriptura iuta, the scripture of help, where we're able to work with the collective consciousness on a whole and be able to obliterate the programs of like grief and sadness and jealousy and like this deconstruction, this what you said, like like the ego death. Like we're able to help the humankind in the human collective to be able to deconstruct their own ego to a point where ego can be used productively, because ego can, I mean, ego is your kind of mirror reflection of where you're at emotionally and physically. And it's an amazing amazing thing where you get to reconstruct your entire framework of life and your collapsed timelines that you no longer require when you understand. And I think, Natalie, you and I touched up on that in the past, where you understand completely the lesson that you've been given, and the lesson that might have stemmed from other lifetimes and past lifetimes where you didn't learn that lesson before, and now you've come back and now you want to reconcile. Now you want to actually learn the lesson and put an end and collapse that timeline altogether and never come back to it. Because once you learn the lesson, you that's it. There's nothing else left. It's like a whole new world, and the habits and the people and different things that happen in life to you kind of like fall away because you have learned that lesson. So like for me, for instance, one of the lessons I've learned was abandonment. I dealt with a lot of abandonment issues from my past lifetimes, and I've dealt with that. And I've reconciled it. I put peace in it. I've learned the lessons, maybe not all, but for the most part I did. And I've seen a giant change in myself, but I had to go through a lot of the ego death to be able to do that, to be able to feel that I am worthy of being celebrated and being loved and being a woman on earth, and being woman and divine, and just being in existence. I've come a long way where I've scrapped life and death, like literally was in situations where, that kind of scenario was like, am I going to live through tomorrow or not? And to go from that and to be able to say thank you to myself for that I exist is a prayer in itself. And thank you for that we exist. And thank you for that holy breath that we are taking right now. Oh, amen on that, right? It took a lot. It took a lot. And I thank Yeshua. I thank Mother Mary. I thank all of the guides. I thank Santa Kumara and Mary Magdalene and John the Apostle and Luke and every single guide that I've ever had, in Kuan Yin and Archangel Gabriel and Archangel Michael. I think all the angels, and just in my higher self to be able to teach me that, to be able to go through that peaceful process. I don't know, Natalie, would you like to add anything to that?
That's beautiful. Yeah, I work with a lot of the same guides. So as you were mentioning their names, and I'm just going, oh, love them. Yeah, becoming the higher self and just letting go of, there's so many layers to it. A lot of it has to do with trust and trusting the higher self and trusting the guides. I've gone through so many different layers of it myself. At first, when I started learning that I carried Magdalene energy, and then Isis, and then other, and Lady Nada, and at first it was like, ooh, this is cool, and I totally stepped into that Magdalene energy and embodiment, and really became Mary. But in doing so, I started to push my human self and deny my human self, and really became Mary, which was great. But then there was almost like a self-hatred at the same time, and denial of my own, of all my humanistic qualities and imperfections. And it was like, oh, I can just take all of this Natalie stuff that's not perfect, or my shadow, or my ego, or my mistakes, or my fears, and bury them under the carpet, and then just, be Mary, right? And then I kind of almost, it was a it wasn't, I say backward, it felt backwards, but it wasn't. It was more of a spiral of, okay. And I actually had Mary step back for a little while so I could work through more of my Natalie healing and becoming and releasing, and recognizing, going through many lessons of recognizing this part of my ego doesn't serve me, and okay, now I see this behavior or this belief or this block, and I just had to go through one by one and release. And then, so there was a lot of that. And then there's a lot of, embodiment process where you've got to step aside and then really, really surrender and trust in the process. Because embodiment of the aspects doesn't work unless you relax your energy and your chakras
Yes.
and open up, because embodiment is basically their codes coming into your crown, and then they integrate their codes into each of your chakras. So, you know, Mary's sacral chakra is integrated to my sacral chakra. Her, you know, throat chakra is integrated into my throat chakra. So,
Right.
you know, every part of her is integrated into every part of me. I become her, and same with
Right.
Sophia. So that's embodiment. But in order to do that, it challenges your fears, your resistance, your beliefs, your blocks, and you have to release so much to be able to
Yes.
let that in. And so it's been a very arduous process over the past 2 years, you know, more than 2 years for me, 2.5 years. But it's a lot of activations, and then there's a lot of integrating, and it's
Yeah.
it takes you into the depths of yourself, and you have to really go deep into who you are, and then I have to also really step aside, kind of go deep and say, okay, I'm feeling this anger or this emotion or this wound, but is it my Natalie self feeling it, or is it my Mary self feeling it from Mary's past life, or is it Sophia feeling it, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Or even any of my other aspects, like who, sometimes I have to identify, like, who's feeling this, you
Yes.
know, or I
Really.
might be feeling their mood or their emotion coming through me. And so, yeah, it gets really confusing at times. So I'm still in the process of it. You know, um, I'm still in the process of this understanding and growing and becoming and integrating. And some days it's perfect, it's balanced, it's amazing. I'm like in this complete, beautiful, utter alignment, and
Mhm.
it's very harmonious. And other times, like you said, there, it feels a bit like a battle, because the higher self and the aspects see our full potential and who we are in our full soul blueprint. We don't necessarily see what they see, right? And
Of
so
course.
they bring us so much stuff and codes and missions, and our energy and our ego can say, whoa, wait a minute, you know, I don't
Right.
think I can handle that. I can't handle that. You want me to do that? Like, that's out of alignment with my belief. And, you know, that challenges what I've always done or what I've always believed.
Right.
So they're bringing things into us that challenge the ego, because the ego likes to sit very comfortably with, you know, their little box or their little binder of
Yeah.
of tabbed identities and tabbed beliefs. And, well, this doesn't fit into my neat little, you know, box, so to speak. So it we can either let that ego stay in the box and have control, and, you know, take the pen and, you know, be like the librarian, categorizing everything and being very type A, or, you know, and then the ego can get away with that for a little while, but not that long, because before you know it, you're going to be like, well, wait a minute, I really do need my higher self's help. I need to sit down and cooperate and put the pen down and say, okay, higher self, how, you know, what do I need to step aside and let go of, so you can come in and help me and we can work cooperatively together. And
Right.
so then you can find there is a path to harmony and a path to integration and a path to that cooperation.
Yes.
But it's
Yes.
definitely a process of um, letting go of control and the letting go of the ego mindset. It's,
Yes.
yeah, not easy at all. So
I understand. I understand. Can you walk us through, if possible, because I know you channel, you're such a beautiful channel of the light language. If you were to feel it through Mother Mary's eyes, or through Kuan Yin, or Sana Kumara coming through, or Serapis Bey, or Hilarion, would you be able to sense into any kind of light language that you could bring to us tonight? Only if you can.
yeah, no, I can. Let me just see who would want to channel through. Hmm. They're wanting to bring in Sophia.
Okay. And I will help you along the way. We will do
Okay.
it together as a team.
Okay. I'm just going to hold a moment here just to make a deeper connection. Right. Ram kontia stia akatu uetia tantaya kustia taya. Aira kuntia stanta aya kanta aya tianta aya stuntia. Antia stanta aya kutia taya. Ir kuntia stanta aya kuntia. Ir kuntia aya kantaya. Ir kuntia aya rataya tista. Ekaya dura tiantaya. Ekiantaya ruutiast antaya. Erekiantia a. Erekiantia aya. Unkantia aya. Irkutia aya stanta aya ukata. Urakata. Urakata. Ikantiasta.
Wow. That was really beautiful.
Thank you.
That was really, really, really beautiful. Did you sense into its translation?
No, no, you can't see me right now. I'm just holding a ton of energy in between my hands.
That's okay.
Healing, opening. We're just opening up the energy, your energy, I think. Portal. I'm not sure. We're opening up something. I'm just feeling really intense energy right now.
I'm gonna put my hands up and kind of just tune into, and I am open and ready to receive as we call in all the guides, and we call in Sana Kumara, we call in Hilarion, we call in Serapis Bay, and Kuan Yin, and Lady Nada, and Lady Portia. We call in Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Haniel, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Antoine, Metatron, Michael, Aniel, Ariel, Jeremiah, Jophiel, and Zadkiel. And we're calling in all the Elohim and all the Seraphim. And we call in Mother Mary. And we call in Yeshua. We call in Mary Magdalene. We're calling in our galactic brothers and sisters and Sana Kumara. We're calling in Buddha Maitreya. We are calling our galactic brothers and sisters from the Pleiades. We're calling in all our brothers and sisters from Andromeda. We're calling in all our brothers and sisters from Lyra. We're calling in all our brothers and sisters from Sirius A through X, through C, through E, through B. We're calling all and X and E. We're calling in all of our brothers and sisters from the Arcturian section. We're calling in all our brothers and sisters from Orion and Cassiopeia and Tatiana, and from every location, from Era and Spectra, and from every place, every direction, from the north to the south, from the east to the west, in every cross-dimensional, from all directions of Gaia, all directions on Terra, and throughout all of the directions from the galactic collective consciousness and the entire galactic spectrum to the entire collective consciousness on Earth. And yes, we are in fact opening a beautiful fortress around a beautiful vortex healing zone, like a hole, it's not a void, it's a beautiful hole. I see a lot of translucent light, a lot of effervescent pink, a lot of orange and green and magenta and brown and sky blue, royal blue, and I'm getting the words humble blue, and I'm seeing a lot of pigmentation of yellow and blue-gray, a lot of blue-gray. And we are calling in the silver and the golden light to come penetrate deep down into the deepest crevices of Earth at this time, live stream. And just like in the Chosen episode yesterday with 86,000 people watching it on live stream, we are doing this with as many people as being called to view this show. As we are in the live stream, opening up a complete and total portal grid on Earth at this time, 600 to 700 feet and meters in diameter. And we are going to expand this hole from which comes out this beautiful light of effervescent pink, orange, red, and magenta. And it connects to the beautiful silver and gold light column that stems from the sky, from the heavens, from the galactic consciousness and the galactic spectrum, all the way from Era, from the central galactic sun, streaming all the way down, piercing like a sword all the way through the ground, where each and every single person that is on this call and each and every single person on Earth can feel the magnetic pulse and shift that is being currently implemented at this time. It's almost like a sword piercing through the ground as the Earth currents and magnetic shift is shifting through the Schumann resonance, as it lifts the vibration of Earth higher and higher by at least 50 gigahertz a second at this very moment, as it expands 750 meters in diameter within each millisecond that we are speaking. And within this beautiful vortex of what we call golden and opulent light, we imbue and anchor a new frequency vibration. Just like the Mahatma energy that was imbued in 1984, we imbue a beautiful frequency vibration of golden and silver light that penetrates deep into the Earth's core to continue building a major, major shift in the awakening process upon this Earth, so that further children, the crystal and the rainbow light children that come in now, as we made a joke, there's actually inbound and outbound that is going on currently at this moment, even though it's in balance. It's almost like a reverberation and reshifting of the Earth's core completely and its humanized population. And so that any child that comes through now, any volunteers that are coming through now can feel and be totally in tune with this magnetic pulse and shift. And anyone on this call can also become more frequently balanced and become more in tune with this magnetic residential shift. And so with the assistance of all our galactic guides and with the assistance of all of our guides throughout the entire galactic spectrum and on Earth, together within the entire collective consciousness within the human grid, we are allowing a new portal to be opened, where there is pure love that is being seeped through the veins of Mother Gaia at this time, where there's a complete trajectory shift, where there's tremendous amount of healing, not only on the ego level, but mental level, emotional body, and the physical plane, and the physical body at most. So we ask through the assistance of Mother Divine, Divine Sophia, Divine Father, all of the angels, all of the archangels, all of our guides at this time, we ask each and every single person on this call, for you were drawn to this call for a specific reason. And with anyone that you share it will be a specific reason. And to anyone that comes across this will be a specific reason, as it penetrates through the deep veins and cores of the hearts of those that are on it and beyond. And the ones, again, and we state, the ones you have come in contact with, the ones you will be in contact with day in and day out past this point, will be affected by the magnetic resonance that is being imbued into your heart and your soul space at this time, into your auric field, and will completely expel itself out to anyone you come in contact with, for they will be affected and their vibration will rise. Your presence will become their vibrational shift. And so we ask, are you ready to be healed just like in The Chosen? There's no coincidence for all those 86,000 people watching the show to be able to filter in that frequency of consciousness from the show. And so we ask, are you ready to be healed? It may not be what you expect, and it may not be what you think. It may be just like the man waiting to be in that water, thinking he's going to get healed just because he steps his foot in it. But it will be in one way or another if you choose it to be so, because every choice, everything is a choice. We are in a land of the power of will, and everything is a major, colossal choice. So you go one way or you go another. Everyone on this planet right now is currently going through a transitional phase called the fork in the road. And we are all choosing our path. And whether it be continuing the spin cycle of old replayed lessons until we finally learn where we are going and clearing them out of our way so we can finally be that which we are, or it could be the path of enlightenment, completely taking you back to the present state of reality, of which you feel like you are home and you finally coming home to yourself. Whichever resonates best, that which you choose. But we ask again, are you ready to be healed? And if the answer, that is the first answer that pops to your heart, not your brain, but your heart. And if the answer is yes, then we want you to envision this beautiful scroll in front of you, this giant, giant scroll in front of you, which is blank. And you will become the writer of your own existence and your own trajectory. And we want you to take this beautiful emerald green pen that is standing right by your right side. Whether you are left-handed or right-handed, take it, whichever hand that feels comfortable to you. We want you to write your personal statement to yourself, in which you are describing what you would like to see healed, what you would like to feel healed on the scripture, what you would like to see in your current circumstance change. Who would you bring into your life to help that happen? Who would you ask for through the universe to bring forward? Who would you let go of, for which you've learned the lessons from? The choice is yours. What reality would you like to manifest? If you were to wake up tomorrow and see a completely different sky, see a completely different face, smile differently, just live a different life, would you wake up to the same old reality, or would you change it? And whenever you are ready, take a deep, deep, deep breath in. Hold, feel it in your ribs. I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If you feel any kind of pulsations through your body, through your wrists, through your palms, through your back, through your chest, through your head, through your legs, through your ankles, through your knees, through the soles of your feet, let that reverberate through you as you are connecting deeply to the earth's core. And if you are done writing, or you are done writing, please close up the scroll, roll it up, Put it in your right hand. Put that right hand with the scroll over your heart space. And let's take a small journey. Take another deep breath in. And instead of being where you currently are in your physical plane, we want you to see yourself as you breathe yourself into a separate reality, a different reality. All life is just breath between life and death and different dimensions. You breathe into one and you end up in the other. And you go into this beautiful, spacious monument standing on a hill. Could look like Mediterranean, Turkey, Israel, Africa, whichever you want to picture. And you walk up the hill with all your brothers and sisters who are walking with you. Could be thousands, could be millions, could be billions. And you walk up that hill and you walk into this beautiful monument that almost looks like the second temple of King Solomon. And you walk in there and the beautiful light just emanates from the great central sun, from our sun. And this beautiful, beautiful blue sky is all around. This beautiful golden and silver white light is shining right through into this monument as you're walking in. You're opening this door and you're going right through this door and you see this beautiful archway. And at the archway, Archangel Gabriel, Michael, Metatron, Sandalphon, Haniel, Raphael, and all the angels, Sanat Kumara, Haniel, Ariel, Zadkiel, Jeremiah, Jophiel. Everyone is waiting for you and they're celebrating you. They're smiling. They're smiling for your existence, for your presence on earth at this time. Sana Kumar on your right. Hilarion Serapis Bey on your left. Lady Nada on your right. Lady Portia on your front. Mother Mary joins you at your left. Yeshua joins you on your back, right behind you, as he places his hands, his palms, right over your shoulders from the back. Gives you almost like a small kiss on your forehead, like as if you were a sister or small little brother. And he holds your shoulders and you feel it. You feel the vibrational energy shift from his hands. And what is that vibrational shift? Whatever it feels to you, we want you to record that feeling as Mary Magdalene comes, crouches right into your front, alongside the beautiful Miss Isis. She comes right over to your left side and almost gives you a nice kiss on your cheek, kind of like brushes through your hair and almost brushes up against your cheek. And Kuan Yin comes to the right side of you and brushes over the outside of her hand, of her fingers, brushes over your cheek. And you are surrounded by so many guides, even Shiva, Lakshmi, Kali, Durga. So many guides. King Solomon is here. King David is here. Ishtar, Inanna. So many guides. So many saints. Mother Anna is here. All of our serious brothers and sisters from the Council, from the Arcturus and from the Pleiades, from Andromeda and Lyra and Orion and Cassiopeia and Tatiana, everyone is together and is here now for this great facade. Not an illusionary facade, but this great facade within this beautiful temple mount. And what are we celebrating? What are we feeling? With Yeshua's hands on your shoulders, you feel enormous peace, enormous enlightenment, like almost like Christ has risen energy, because it is the return of the Christed ones. It is the return of the ones we have been waiting for. We are the ones we have been waiting for. The Divine Mother Sophia just showers us. Just picture these beautiful, beautiful pink roses just coming from the heavens and showering us all around us like confetti. And we feel this beautiful energy emanating through each direction. Again, we say from the north to the south, from the east to the west, and every cross-dimensional aspect. And it penetrates deep into our hearts as we open our hearts so wide to this beautiful, purest of all light. Pure in Hindu and Urdu means Arjun, and light in French is Lucien. May there be light, and this beautiful light as we anchor and we just open our hearts and we just stream this beautiful light through our hearts down into Mother Gaia and into Terra. And we come together as an entire human collective tribe. We come together as the entire epitome, not only of the human collective tribe, but of the entire galactic consciousness collective. And we come together to heal. For it is time, dear ones. It is time, dear beloveds, to wake up and heal from this illusionary pain perspective, from this illusionary existence that we are meant to live in pain. We are not. We are divine beings having a physical experience for whatever we chose it for. And we will relive it and relive it and relive it until we are done living the experience of what we came here to do. And so we take the scroll we brought with us to the Temple Mount, and we hand the scroll to three beings: Mother Mary, Archangel Gabriel, Saint John the Apostle. And Mother Mary, Archangel Gabriel, and Saint John the Apostle take our scrolls. They put them in between their hands and they combine their hands together as they walk behind Yeshua. Yeshua turns to them and he makes a circle for Mary Magdalene joins at the forefront and the left. Mother Anna joins in the forefront in the center. Sana Kumara joins on the right. Kuan Yin joins on the left. Isis joins in the middle. Ishtar and Inanna walk together as they go behind in the back. Metatron walks to the center. Sandalphon stays behind. Metatron stays within key. Archangel Raphael comes on the left side, opens his palms, and allows the healing to continue and begin. And all of the guides and all of our galactic family, they open the palms and allow this beautiful light to stream like a column from the heavens. And this beautiful light is emerald green, all the way down to the deepest cores of Mother Earth, all the way down to the inner plains and the inner fires and the inner lakes and the inner rivers, all the way down to the very last crystal of Mother Earth's core. As we all ground to its currents, as we all ground to its soil, to its inner fires and its inner lakes, as we all connect to Mother Gaia on the deepest of levels, as if we are one, we morph into the sky and to the earth. We morph into that heaven on earth. We morph into each other as the Christed collective consciousness. We morph into each other as the divine and as the human. And we bring back the Vesica Pisces once and for all. And we mold it and morph it straight into the center of our hearts, those two circles, those sacred geometry symbols that are the building block of our lives. We morph it together. And we create the flower of life within, the new flower of life that allows us to breathe. As you see, that's impacting, that allows us to breathe. Anything that has ever been stagnant, anything that you have kept and you have not said, anything that you wanted to feel empowered over, but you've allowed to compromise because you didn't say anything, anything that has made you overwhelmed and allowed you to feel the feeling, oh, I can't breathe right now. Breathe it out. And just like Mary reminds us of the parable of her and her brother jumping in Magdala from the hill into the ocean, and her floating down and just letting go of everything but her spirit, and feeling like she has fully surrendered to Mother Earth and fully surrendered to her divine and fully surrendered to God by feeling nothing. She is not in pain. She is not in fear. She's not in worry. She's not in stress, because she just let go and she surrendered. So do we in this now moment. And ladies and gentlemen, take a deep, deep, deep breath in. Hold it in your heart space. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and breathe it out. And one more time. Breathe it deeply in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and breathe it out. One more time. Breathe it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And breathe it out. And one more time. Deep, 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 deep breath. Hold it, hold it, hold it in your diaphragm. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and breathe it out. I want you to picture this beautiful wave between heaven and earth, beautiful wave that envelops Mother Earth. Give her a big hug. Feel her love giving you a hug right back. Feel the love. Feel it. Feel it. Shimikasha nukasi yama. Tekasionamika ini. Antia mate se antia. Antia nukamashikisi yama. Kishisamai. Kitashasimi kola. Ishomisiai. Kitashi antiama. Kinibishi antiama. Kitashi antia kitia kiuma. Kitashi siame. Kitashi siame akinasima. Kinasiakia. Kitashi amia. Kitashomasi akia. Kisisi antiama. Antia. Antia kiami. Kiami to kashi asiano. Kitashasimu. Kitashimosi. That is the message that is being given to say, to let the collective know that we are balancing between our divine, our heart space, and our humanness. And we allow the peace, the eternal peace of eternal life and eternal love become our trajectory of life, where we allow the healing. And as Yeshua takes the scrolls from Gabriel, from Mother Mary, he lifts them to the heavens, and he allows Saint Germain to take and breathe in and out the beautiful violet flame that envelops each and every single one of us. It allows the scrolls to become purified and allows the scrolls to become us. And anything that we wish to let go of no longer exists, for we have purified it through the violet flame of Saint Germain. and anything we want to manifest into life right now that will include positivity and peace, balance, and harmony, and complete and total joy. May it be. Say it together within yourself. May it be. May it be so, and let it be done. Let it be done. And it is done. It is done. It is done. What is required is your faith. What is required is your belief. It is you who will be the determining factor of what is it that's done to be executed here on earth and to be fully manifested into life. As we speak it, we manifest it. We speak it into life. We literally breathe it into life. Anything that we've ever had experienced, we have breathed into life. We have spoken it to exist. And so now let's change our trajectories by creating a future that allows us to be happy, that allows us to be free, that it gives us joy, peace, prosperity, well-being, love and kindness and humbleness, and just being able to raise our vibration day in and day out without any struggle, without any feeling that it's a job, just naturally raising your vibration day in and day out and impacting everyone you come in contact with, because you speak from heart. And as you speak from heart, your energy will reverberate to those that are around you and will create a much higher frequency for those that come in contact with you. We love you. We send you love and light every moment of your breath as you breathe your new life into being. And may it be done. May it be done, may it be done, may it be done, may it be done. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and may it be so. Amen. كيف كيا شو تسامي كناي كيف كيا كشان سيواين او كيف كيا may it be done. كيف كيا تشوما سينا مكيني لك واشل سماني كما كده شوما سي كنيا كسيامو كده شسي مني كني ما سينا كي ميكا سيموني غانا مشوي سينا كنيو. And may it be done. May it be done, may it be done, may it be done for eons to eons to eons. Not only for ourselves, but for our children and our children's children, and for all future generations, and for all those crystal and rainbow children that are coming now. May it be done for them as well. For our loved ones, and our neighbors, and our friends, and our families. May tonight be the night we all find peace in our hearts, peace in our souls. May we find the most peaceful sleep. And may we feel fulfilled, not only in the food we eat, not only in the breath we breathe, not only in the air we breathe, not only in the moment we see, feel, and hear, but with each given second and millisecond and picosecond that we exist. For may we actually say thank you for once for that we exist. Thank you guys. Amen. Let's slowly get back. Let's walk back. Thank you to the guides. Thank you to Yeshua. Thank you to Mother Mary. Thank you to Nakumara and Sandalphon and Metatron and Isis. Thank you, Kuan Yin. Thank you, Durga. Thank you, Shiva and Lakshmi. Thank you, every guide that we've had. Thank you, all the angels. Thank you, all the archangels. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everyone, for all your beautiful, beautiful guidance and assistance. Thank you to all of our galactic brothers and sisters. Thank you to Mother Divine. Thank you to Father Divine. Thank you to Mother Divine Sophia and Father and all of the Elohim and the Seraphim and the entire human collective consciousness. May there be peace to you on all tonight, and to all the entire galactic consciousness. May there be peace for you guys all tonight as well. Amen. Thank you, Kefkia. Okay, Natalie, anything you'd like to add to that?
Hi. No, I'm just sort of laying here very relaxed and sleepy now after that beautiful guided meditation.
Thank you.
So,
Take the guides. I'm just a messenger. That's what happens on the show, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
like
no,
jump.
I
You
think
never know
that,
what you're gonna get.
yeah, no, I think that sums it up. I think that's pretty good. So,
Yeah. For some reason, I'm getting the download to say the Forrest Gump. I can't. Yeah, that is so funny. Forrest Gump just came. Yeah, remember Forrest Gump, the movie?
yeah, and what about it though?
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So
Yeah, they kept having me look at the color green. So something about, I guess, healing, emerald green, green ray, maybe not
yes.
Raphael, but I have got like a green water glass and a few looking outside my window at the green leaves on the tree and a few other things in my room that have green. And so it's just something about tuning into the emerald color, emerald
Yes.
ray, maybe emerald ray light, to be
Yes.
working with the emerald ray light for healing.
Yes.
Definitely a powerful ray of light and frequency to be working with for healing and working with Raphael and yeah, and just sort of being able to be our own healers and knowing that we have that ability and that skill within us to call on any of our guides or angels to assist in our healing or clearing or clarification or understanding or anything it is that we're needing, alignment with or cleansing with or purification with. Yeah, beautiful. So just feeling that emerald green ray energy today for
I also
healing.
was able to pull up cards for us for tonight just now while you were speaking. 5 cards, which is amazing because it's 5 is the numerological version of transformation, right? So the first card that was pulled up is the fear card. It's almost like we're learning to let go of fear, right? And we are as a human collective 100%. And we go from fear to being like this loving woman or the loving man, right? Isn't that beautiful? What a beautiful card, right? And look at the if you notice, what are the 3 lights that are being shown on the card?
I can't really see.
Okay. Bring it closer.
It's got glare. Well, it's got glare.
Yeah, it's got the purple, the pink, and almost like the greenish, the bluish glare. So it's definitely somebody visiting us from the great beyond.
Yeah.
Look at
No, it's too close. That's the problem, is you can't really see a card.
But
Because
even
it's
if
reflecting, there's a purple light reflecting off your phone, so you can't see the cards.
yeah. But it's the loving woman. It's the loving woman. So you go from the sphere to opening up your heart to being this loving woman or man. So there's no
Well,
gender.
love is the opposite of fear, right? So letting go of fear and becoming love.
Exactly. So you choose love over fear.
Right.
And that's the whole purpose and message of tonight is choose love over fear. And that's what Mary wants to implement that very clearly. Choose love over fear.
Yeah.
Choose love over fear. It's a beautiful, beautiful message. And taking steps is the next card. Be taking steps to be able to choose that love over that fear, which is a beautiful card. And the next card is the sacred temple. So we go from taking steps and we go into our own sacred temple or into the sacred temple of all life. That's what Mother Mary and Yeshua and Anna and Mary Magdalene is trying to portray, is that the message is choose love over fear so you can now move into the sacred temple of your life. And your life becomes a kind of like a scriptura, like a scripture, almost like a masterpiece painting of the new trajectory that you painted for yourself that isn't so gory, that isn't so sad, that isn't so bleak. It's actually a sacred divine temple, and you feel the pride and you anoint it, right? You sanctify it, you purify it, you respect it, and you honor it. And Yeshua says to Mary before the crucifixion, he says, when the Baptist anointed me, there was no holy oil. right? And it went like this. So we are now given the opportunity not only to rebuild the sacred temple, and it's not going to be standing on the Temple Mount of Olives or anything like that built by King Solomon, even though King Solomon's guidance will be clearly appreciated and used, I'm sure, if the new temple would be born to life again. But the sacred temple is within us. That is what King Solomon is saying, is that it was never about the temple that, everybody made this huge thing about the temple, and the temple fell and all life went to smithereens. No, the temple is within us, just like the kingdom is within us. It's not a castle in Europe, and it's not, it's like the wind. That's what Yeshua was saying. It was like the wind. It's there. It's ever present. We just need to open our eyes and choose to see with the eyes of our soul, the eyes of love. Through the eyes of love, we can choose to see through the eyes of our soul. And the last card is hidden motivation. So all the things that we have hid from ourselves, from each other, all the things that we have allowed to overshadow, kind of like we kept in the shadows, in our lives, or the people around us are keeping in the shadows from us. They're all going to come to life. They're all going to birth through into this purity of light, so they can be healed. They can be awakened. They can be reconciled and processed, so that way you can live a much better life. If the choosing was that you're going to get healed, absolutely. And another card that came out was the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups, where there's a man and a woman actually holding a chalice, where there's two snakes, like medicinal. So there's a healing process going on. The Two of Wands, where there's actually a woman holding a circular ball, standing in front of two trees, and she's looking up and she's like, wow, my life is changing in the most magnificent of ways. The King of Swords, which is almost like, looks like Neptune, is actually sitting on this beautiful chariot, holding a spear or a sword that is, piercing through the ground to show, like, I am awakening, I'm accelerating in my consciousness, and I am lifting my vibration. I'm opening my heart up to a brand new me, so I could see the beauty of the brand new you. And then the Ace of Cups, where there's a cup that is being filled and overflowing with the beauty of water, and there's a lotus on top, like drawn in the center, where there's actually a bird putting in a coin, and there's a hand reaching over and touching these beautiful waters. And these waters represent the waters of life, the rivers of life, the waters of life that run within us as we heal our own interconnectedness, our own centeredness, our own inner child, that allows us to heal and connect deeply with our divinity and our divine source within, through the divine wisdom of Sophia and Father Divine and the angels and our guides, like Sana Kumara and Yeshua, Buddha Maitreya and Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, Lady Nada, and Lady Portia, and Mother Anna, and countless of others, beautiful beings and guides, and Durga and Lakshmi and Ishtar and Shiva. And the last one is the Four of Cups, where there's a man sitting by a tree, and he's kind of lonely, and he has his hands kind of folded and his feet kind of folded in almost like a yoga position. But there's a being that comes through and offers him a chalice. And in this chalice, the representation of that message that's coming through right now is that we are all being offered the chalice of life. So we could either choose existence, a mortal existence that allows us to just feel the grains of superficiality and interconnectedness with the matrix, where we experience nothingness, so to speak, where we dwell and wallow in the continuous abysmal 3D reality in and day out, and continue to learn our lessons and stagnate some more? Or do we choose to awaken within us that fire, that inner piercing fire that allows us to live the real life, as we begin to see things with the eyes of our soul and the eyes of our heart, that allows us to see through the illusion and into the galloping spirit that is like a horse running wild, going through towards the horizon. And we allow ourselves to open up so much. In Spanish, it's estoy abierta, where I am allowing myself to open up my heart. Estoy abierta, opening of the heart, to see beyond what we've never seen before, to see beyond the physical plane, to see beyond the physical illusions. And we allow ourselves to be able to connect to the beauty and the essence of each breath of our lives, and allow ourselves to connect to the beauty of life itself and Gaia, and help Gaia ascend and help ourselves to ascend and become the better versions of what we are meant to be. And we, again, the same prayer that comes up is, thank you for that we exist. Thank you for that I exist. Maybe you could say that, once in a while or every night. Thank you for that I exist. Thank you for that we exist. Isis gave me a beautiful prayer in the middle of the pandemic, and I'm going to say it again, and we could try to, if you'd like, I could, email it to you. And it's, I choose my path, my journey, the way I choose it to be, the way I manifest it into life to be, the way I breathe it into life to be, the way I envision it into life to be, and the way I imagine it into life to be, and no other way. And that is what I leave you with. And also, I wanted you guys to see this. This is actually something that I just received recently as a gift. It's an actual carved sodalite. Since we're part of the Esoteric Guides NYC, and I'll give a little bit leave about that. We do sport, we do show different crystals and minerals, just so, just a little bit of educational background. This was a carved sodalite, which is a stone of joy, which is a stone of peace and balance and prosperity and success, and a stone that allows someone who is going through major challenges in life to be able to open up their heart and to be able to literally take those challenges and perceive them not as challenges, but lessons and experiences that need to be there in order to facilitate the greatest awakening of of your life, or of all life, depending on how global or minor it may be, macro or micro. And this is a dragonbane agate that I just got recently, and they're kind of put together. Both of them allow intuitive senses to become heightened. Both of them allow tremendous intuition to be able to bring forth messages and automatic writing and scrying. And it's a beautiful aesthetic, but also at the same time, it allows you to balance your entire divinity as divine feminine, and your divine masculine allows you to kind of calm your nerves and your entire deep tissues and your cellular memory and all of your muscles, and allows you to have good sleep, or these decent quality night's rest of 4 to 6 hours, because it allows you to get into the theta state and the REM sleep that you require in order to balance out your circadian rhythms. So definitely anybody looking to really purchase anything like this, shoot me an email, and I'll definitely let you know where I got it, or where we could find something of any kind of like preference for you. But these are just amazing little tools that we always do that on our shows. Yeah. And Natalie, thank you so much for being a part of our show. You truly are, again, we say, an inspiration to all of life. And we truly believe that one day billions will literally flock to you in droves as moth to a flame, because they want to hear and feel the message, because you are truly the message. Your hands are the message, and your voice is the message. And through your voice, as you speak, you breathe things into reality. So is there anything else you want to add?
No, thank you for that. I guess I'll just share my website. So anybody that's interested to look at, connect with me, they can find my website at empoweredsacredfeminine.com, just to see what different services I offer. And it's pretty simple. It's, either a guidance session with reading, or energy healing with guidance. And there's an empowerment session and Sophia Christ Code activation session for those that are guided, deeply guided to it. I do a lot of activations as well, but those come across in a very organic way. They're never planned. They're just often people who, need that connection with Mary or Sophia will, are guided to me, or need code activations through me, or whatever the case may be, or if they're interested in the deeper healing program. So yeah, they can check out my website and reach me on email or connect through the website. So all the information's there of how to connect, with my links to my Facebook and YouTube and that. So yeah, be happy to connect with any of your audience if they have any questions, and they can email me at magdaleneswish3311@gmail.com as well. So thank you.
Thank you. And you guys can email me anytime at Leah, LEAHMA, Marianna, MARIANNA 55 @gmail.com. And again, I do work together with the Esoteric Guys NYC and Mr. Scott Harney. And we do a lot of channeling. We have some amazing, gifted psychics and healers, and we have different shows like the Zodiac Lounge with Anthony Russell, which is amazing. We have Lady Rhea doing the Enchanted Cafe, and we've been quite busy since last year. And please do check out our YouTube on the Esoteric Guys TV. Yeah, and I hope you guys have a beautiful, beautiful night. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We are honored to have you, of course, always. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Okay, we love you. Have a wonderful night. Namaste. Natalie, namaste. Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you for everybody who tunes in, and I appreciate you and the time and opportunity. Thank you so much, Marianna.
Okay, you too. Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye-bye, everybody.